When I was in the street in that life, the normal way of investigating a crime happens, and then they go out and investigate it and try to find the perpetrator and find out what happened here. Mm-hmm. In case of organized crime, and you're going through the same thing, the crime didn't happen. They're targeting you,
yes,
and now they try to figure out what crime you might have done,
yes,
or they try to make something up. Let me ask you, how many charges are actually against you both?
So some charges are against Andrew, and some charges are against me. The charges, I believe, are forming an organized criminal gang. No idea why. I've got an extra charge. The trafficking and exploitation. And I've got one for inciting violence. So essentially telling people to go beat people up and stuff. Not beating them up myself, but telling people to. Mm-hmm. And my inciting violence charge, I'm going to tell you that all the evidence against me, right? A friend of mine, a female friend of mine, told me a story on WhatsApp where she got into an altercation, pushing and pulling kind of altercation with another girl. The event had already happened. And afterwards, because it's WhatsApp, and I talked to her, I've known her 10 years, like I'll talk to a friend of mine. I went, ha, 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 yeah, real funny, kick her ass. That's it. That's why I am charged with the incitement of violence against others, because an event had already taken place. I laughed about it and said, kick her ass, when these two girls, I heard they were pushing and pulling each other over some nonsense, clothes or something. I don't know what it was.
How did they get the WhatsApp? Because that's supposed to be encrypted.
No, they didn't get the WhatsApps from, in fact, I know what they got and what they didn't, but they pulled this from that girl's phone.
Oh.
They pulled this from that girl's phone. But essentially, I'm like, how can I have incited the violence if the confrontation had happened before? One, that doesn't make any sense. Two, even if I said before, if she said, oh, I'm arguing with this girl, and I said, kick her ass, everyone says stuff like that all the time to everyone. Yeah. I'm not ordering a mob hit to go and beat this person ridiculous. Up. However, they'll put the charges down. They'll make the charges sound bad. They'll put your name in the news. They'll drag your name through the mud. When this does eventually get seen, I like to believe, by a high court judge of Romania who looks at this and says, oh, well, this isn't inciting violence. Cool, 3 years have passed. 3 years have passed, and my life they've attempted to ruin my life. I'm having a wonderful time. This is very enjoyable to me. These people are, they're trying to, I guess, I don't know, upset me, and it doesn't work, and that upsets them. But they're trying to destroy my life. So I can't really ever have justice now, even at this point. If they dropped it all tomorrow, cool. I've been under arrest for 5% of my life, Michael. Like, what kind of justice is that? There is no justice, because justice is balance, and the people who've done this to me will never suffer any repercussions, which is sad, but I really don't care. I find it very funny.
So now, it's amazing to me, after speaking to you and your brother and realizing that you have a lot of respect for women, you have a lot of respect for your children. I mean, that's obvious with both yourself and Andrew. And then you get tagged with this nonsense. And the reason I say that, again, is because you have a platform, you have a voice, you're successful.
Yes.
And for some reason, maybe you disagree with the current administration or the current people in power, and now you got to go through this.
The way that the law could be weaponized is honestly terrifying. And it's terrifying to me. I'm going to give you an example. Every single girl who I've met has been investigated as a potential victim of mine. Anyone I've ever met, for any reason, any woman that I know has been investigated and questioned. If they could find her, they'll question her. You're a potential victim because of Tristan because X, Y, Z. So everyone I've met are all in this potential victim pile of papers, yes? This is the scariest thing that's happened to me. A girl who's 24 years old, who I still know. I saw her last week. She was at a restaurant with me last week. Still know her. She said in the interview, she went there without a lawyer, not knowing what the interview was about. And they said, where did you first meet Tristan? And she goes, oh, at a party. Okay, where was the party? In a hotel reception. Did Tristan invite you? No. Who invited you? Well, my friend's sister was invited by Tristan, and this girl brought us along to the party. And you met Tristan there. Yeah, that's where I first met him. Nothing happened. It was a handshake. Mm-hmm. How old were you when you met Tristan? I was 17. Okay. They released a public statement saying that they're now investigating Tristan Tate for the potential attempted trafficking of a minor. How sick do you have to be? This person is a 24-year-old woman who I still know. The fact that the first time she shook my hand at a public party in a reception hall of a hotel was when she was 17 years of age. They wrote that down in their little statement, and everyone I know is a potential victim, so she's a potential human trafficking victim. Like I drive my car around and throw kids into my car. You do that kind of shit in Romanian jail, as I'm sure in English jail.
You get killed.
Well, I mean, my Romanian is rudimentary. I could speak Romanian, and all I'd speak about with the other cellmates is what we do if the pedophiles were put in our cell. It's a fun topic, and you know, we mean it because you know I've got kids, and a lot of the people in jail are fathers, and these people are sick. But to say that because I met someone when they were 17, a 24-year-old woman now, this is when I was 29 then, so that's a long time ago. Because the first time I shook her hand, she was 17. If you can look this up. Tristan is being investigated, not in the file, it's not gone to court, but we're investigating the idea that he might traffic minors. What the fuck are you talking about? This woman's never worked for me, lived with me, never given me any money. I've never bought her anything. I barely know her. She's a friend and an acquaintance who comes out when I invite people to nightclubs. That's it. It's really sickening what the law can do and how they can use this to try and destroy your name.
Yeah. Well, that's what it's all about. They're trying to paint this picture of you and putting it in everybody's mind that this is how you treat women, so this all has to be true, all these allegations.
But no woman I met has ever said that.
Well, let me ask you this now, because I'm always interested in legal systems.
Yeah.
Now that you probably never got involved in any of this, didn't know anything about the system.
No.
Right, no knowledge.
My only handlings with the Romanian legal system prior to this was speeding tickets.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay, so now that you're into it and you have attorneys, what are they saying to you about the process? They're saying, listen, you can get a fair shake in Romania. It's very, very difficult. What are they telling you?
It's a lottery of the judges that get selected for me. That's what it is. I've heard all these stories that I cannot confirm or deny. I don't know. But I do know that I've had bad decisions in court and I've had good decisions in court. And it's random judges every time. How can a judge say, for my second month in prison, yeah, definitely keep him in prison, keep him in prison. And 30 days later, when nothing new has been added to the case, nothing's been done, another judge say, this is completely unlawful, let the boys out of jail. How can that be, if the law is black and white, how can that be the case? How can I could have applied to get off house arrest and judges say, no, they're dangerous, keep them in house arrest. And then one judge look at it and say, it doesn't look like these guys have even done anything wrong, let them out. It's a roll of the dice. I don't know what judges I'm going to get. So
every time you go to court, you get a different judge?
I have one judge who proceeds over my entire case. Right. And every decision she makes goes to randomly appointed appeal court judge, randomly appointed appeal
immediately?
Judges.
It goes right to appeal?
Yeah, immediately. Because if I win something, if I get something in my favor, the police appeal it. If the judge says something that's not in my favor, my lawyers appeal it. So no matter what, it's going to go to the appeal court judges.
So every decision is appealed?
Every decision is appealed. And the system here is very confusing. And it's very difficult to understand for Americans how you could be put in prison before you even talk to a judge for essentially an indefinite amount of time. What they do is they give you serious charges, because the more serious the charges, the longer they can keep you in jail. So I remember when I was in prison, everyone was telling me, everyone on the outside was saying, well, I've heard that they can only keep you in preventative detention for 6 months. And I was saying on the phone to my guys, no, I'm with a guy here. He's in my cell who's been here a year and a half and has not seen a judge. That can't be true. I found out that I could have been in jail without charge for 9 years. Because what the limit is 50% of the maximum sentence of the crimes that you are accused of. So I could have been in jail permanently, even to this day, from my arrest a year and a half ago, for 9 years before they'd have to legally let me out, which is very scary. But the good part is, if you're a human trafficker, if they raided my house and found any girl, I mean, there were no girls here, but let's say they found girls in handcuffs locked in this room, I wouldn't have got out after 3 months. If you're a human trafficker and it looks like you're doing something, buying and selling women, exploiting people, whatever, no human trafficker gets out after 3 months. It's never happened. Only me and Andrew. Right. Which means that there are fair people in the system who know this is a setup and decided to end my captivity. So that gives me hope. Otherwise, it's in God's hands. And like I said, they can't make me care. They can't scare me. They can't bully me. They can't make me cry. They can't make me break down. They can't make me plead guilty to something I didn't do. I'd rather just go to jail because everyone I love is fine, jail or not. So, and that's, I guess, the side effect of being a hardworking, smart individual who set his life up in the right way. I ain't scared of prison.
Well, you have the right attitude. You know, in the States, it's a little bit different. When you get locked up in the federal system, they can detain you, no bail, for either being a flight risk or a danger to the community.
Yes.
My last case, they locked me up. They gave me no bail. And then I have to go for a hearing, right? Well, they couldn't call me a flight risk because I had been to trial 5 times.
Showed up every time.
It wasn't even 5 minutes late for any one of them. I sat through months of trial. I stood in front of 5 juries, so they know I'm not running anywhere. My crime was basically a tax fraud case, even though they made it RICO, you know, it was a racketeering case. So there was no violence. You know, they wanted to put violence in there, but we weren't threatening people. They wanted to buy gas from us, right? We couldn't sell them enough gas.
So you can't be a danger to society.
Couldn't be a danger to the community. So you know what they did? They created a new category under the statute. They said I was an economic danger to the community because of the amount of money that we defrauded the government of, billions of dollars, they said. So they created on the spot. Nobody had ever been detained for that reason ever before. And the judge bought it, and they held me without bail.
Well, the only similarity in my case is that the definition of human trafficking has, and this is in my legal indictment, the prosecutor has said, this guy who's after me, that this is a new form of human trafficking we've never seen before. So in the place of real evidence, which they wanted to find something I did wrong. They wanted to find a disgruntled ex-employee or ex-girlfriend or whatever. What they did is they found women who have never lived with me. Some of them are from cities 6 hours away, who have, and this is not a joke, asked me for help promoting their social medias. So I am the biggest social media guy in this entire country. I'm an internet marketing legend almost, the way that we made Andrew as famous as he has. So we're legends in the internet marketing. TikTok had to ban his voice. They had to use AI face scanners to ban his face.
Really?
And he's still on TikTok, so good luck. But essentially, they found conversations of me with women who say, this is a setup, the boys aren't victims. I'm not a victim, the boys aren't criminals. I just asked them for help on social media. They found my conversations saying, post this on TikTok at this time. The best time for engagement on Instagram is this. If you're going live on TikTok and monetizing your account, you need to do it this way. And these women never gave me a single penny. But my prosecutor has made up this definition of human trafficking, saying I'm orchestrating and controlling these women from afar to get them to make money on social media, even though he's never proven they've given me a penny. So they've made up a new definition of what human trafficking is, just for me, so they can charge me with human trafficking, which is a very serious case. Not the theft of TikTok creator funds from my friends' accounts, which would be what, minor theft. I don't know what crime that would be. They're calling it human trafficking. So yeah, they can just make stuff up. Yeah, and it's funny. Like I've got to smile.
It's funny, but it's funny, but to me it's not, because I just cannot believe that people can get away with this, but they do.
Well, yes, but look, it's me. It's me and Andrew they're trying to get with this bullshit. And I believe that there are men worthy of respect, good guys out there, who wouldn't be as capable of dealing with this financially, emotionally than me or Andrew.
No doubt.
So for me, when this case ends, there are going to be a lot of questions in Romania asked about why this was done to American citizens on Romanian soil. And the way I look at it is, well, my kids are Romanians. So if you attacking me in this way didn't really financially damage me and it didn't upset me, but it raises serious concerns in this country about the way the justice system works and about how you can victimize people, especially foreign nationals. If questions are asked and changes are made, I only did 3 months, Michael. 3 months. That's a cakewalk to someone like you.
Right.
It's nothing. So was it worth it? Maybe. If something good comes out of it, then I'm glad it happened. Because now I'm under arrest, sure, but I mean you've looked around. Do I look like I'm upset? Do I look like I'm locked up? Like I can't fly? Well, I've spent most of my life not being able to fly
Can't leave
anywhere.
the country, right?
No, I can't leave the country.
That's your restriction.
That's my restriction currently, but that's going to appeal next week. But again, I've spent 10 years of my life not being able to leave my country. Why? Because I was flat broke. Right. So am I any more in jail now than I was when I worked at McDonald's? Not really. Couldn't fly then, can't fly now. And it is what it is. But I'm living much better day to day than I was back then.
Yeah.
So it doesn't faze me.
I was going to say, the problem they have is that your attitude is what it is, which is good, which is what it should be, but that angers them. And, you know, it motivates them more to try to do, because you're making them look bad.
Well, they see it as arrogance.
Yeah.
I've heard from various people talking around, no, you're too arrogant about this. I'm like, no, it's not arrogance. It's actually innocence. If I tell the world that you are a child molester, I wouldn't even want to put that negative energy out there in the world. You'd be like, Tristan's full of shit. Fuck that Tristan Tate guy. He's a loser. Of course he's making this up. And then I could say, oh, he's just being arrogant. It's not arrogance. You know you're innocent.
Yeah,
you're innocent, and you're going to tell me to go fuck myself. So the people who are trying to do this, to me, oh, they're legal professionals or not, they can go fuck themselves. I will be arrogant because I'm innocent of every single crime, and good luck proving it. Good luck proving it. I don't care.
Well, you know what? I admire that because not too many guys do that today. Yeah. And you're right. I'm innocent. Why should I sit here and make believe or put my head down or you know I'm innocent of this? And I love that attitude.
Yeah.
And you and your brother, you present yourself very well. I mean that. And you know, it's again, you see all these people on social media it's just oh my
it's
gosh,
bad, isn't it?
It's just
bad.
It's unbelievable. People make up their minds knowing nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. You know, they don't have a clue. At this point, you don't even know when there's going to be a trial.
No.
You have no idea.
No idea.
It could be months. Is there any because we have a speedy trial rule, you know, at home, you can, within 90 days, they could always move it around a little bit. But normally, if you're a defendant and you're asking for a trial, they have to give it to you.
No, not here. If a trial does take place, a decision, guilty or not guilty, isn't coming for at least a year.
Really?
At least a year. Things here take forever. There's no computer systems. Everything's paper. Pen and paper, analog, nothing's digital. Keep in mind at this point, 2 years after this started, not a single judge for a single second has analyzed any evidence or taken into account the question, is this guy guilty of a crime or not? That has never happened once yet. That will happen if this goes to appeal and the appeal court judges say, okay, we believe the investigation was conducted legally and we're going to put their evidence forward for the trial. Then at a trial, finally someone actually thinks about the question, did these guys do it or not? Because that question hasn't been analyzed by a single Romanian judge yet. Not one. Am I worried about going to prison? No. Am I worried about a guilty verdict for human trafficking on my name for the rest of my life? Yeah. That offends me. That seriously offends me. More so, I would rather go to jail right now for a year for no reason than be convicted of human trafficking and walk, on some plea. No way. No way. So that's why I'm fighting so hard. And I'll continue to fight. And they're going to have to prove it, like I said. So,
well, listen, keep it up.